Hello and welcome to Chatz, a television podcast, the TV book club hosted by two best friends. This is season 18, which we're titling Toon Couch, Toon Madness. What is zanier than trying to pick our next chat season from a huge pile of 64 different animated series? Well, it would be the series themselves. And we got some zany ones this week, I'll tell you that much. My name is Magellan, and they know what their car needs: leadership. It's Allen.
Hey, Magellan. How's it going? How's it going? Hey, MTV executive, I have a great show idea for you. You know those music videos that everybody loves? Yeah, we love those. Everybody watches those. Video did kill a radio star. Okay, What if I did two characters talking to each other over the music videos? Oh, sure, like MST3K? No. More boring. Way...
How about worse?
Worse. Way worse.
Yeah.
Okay, are you going to say anything meaningful of our content during those segments? Absolutely not. What else do you want? I kind of want to just do like a roughly animated, like 3 to 5 minute sequence that airs between other shows where basically nothing happens. And then MTV executive takes a fucking huge line of cocaine and goes, "You're fucking sold, bud.
We're swimming in money and it's never going to end. You can do whatever you want."
It's 1993. Bong.
You might be wondering out there what we're talking about. And we're talking about one of the shows we watched for this week. Now, let me just fill you in, okay, on where we are in our process of going through 64 different shows. We're in our division phase here. We're taking those shows, we split them into 8 groups of 8. We're going visiting each group in groups of 4 shows and being like, okay, which ones do we like? Which ones are going to make it to kind of the end of this division? Okay, out of those final 4 in the division, one of them is going to go to a bracket of 8 total shows that are going to get a battle and then there's going to be a winner. So this division that we're in is now our 5th. We are doing kind of adult animation, I guess you could call it. We're splitting between this week and next week into different decades of premieres. So this week is 90s shows. Next week is kind of 2000s and beyond. So for this week, we watched I was going to say the pilots, but we'll talk about...
That gets complicated.
It gets complicated. We watched an episode of each of these 4 programs: Beavis and Butthead, which is the one that we were doing an immaculate impression of; Daria, which we'll do impressions of later; King of the Hill we'll also do impressions of later; and Futurama, which maybe, I'm not sure.
The good future, and then in parentheses, Futurama quotes are oft interred in there, and then in parentheses, everything that they fucking say, on parentheses, bones.
Yeah, good. That was good.
How was it?
A good typographic joke.
Thank you so much. Fun. You're so kind. Thank you.
Yeah. So we watched those 4, and we're going to talk about them as we usually do on this program in chronological order, because we think that's kind of interesting and fun. But before we do, Alan, I'm curious, this kind of genre of animation, adult animation, meaning like humor that's intended to be either enjoyed by adults or there's like deliberately a layer of it that adults are going to appreciate more. Like Daria is a show ostensibly about a high schooler, but it kind of feels like you need to have the wry wit and sophistication of somebody in their 30s to really appreciate it.
Yeah.
But how do you feel about adult animation? What place has that held for you in your TV watching life? Curious about that.
Yeah, this was in answering your question, I'll say this. This was a really weird bracket division to put shows in, because
Mhm.
there's actually a lot of shows that I would have considered foundational to adult animation. And so for us, it became a question of like, well, first of all, the first thing above all else for us is, well, like what makes interesting discussion. The second most important
Mhm.
is like what's on the original 64 list that we've been pulling from. And I
Yep.
know Daria was on there. I believe King of the Hill was on there. Uh, and
I
I
think
was like,
Beavis and Butthead was on there too.
right. So at some point, people suggested these, and then we announced it last week, and girl from the podcast Kelly immediately she posted in the Chatz Discord, Peter Griffin, like the injured Peter Griffin meme pose, and I was like, oh my god, we forgot about Family Guy.
Yeah.
But like, I think we said that the 2 weeks right now are split into 90s and then 2000s 2010s, and I think doing like we could have very well just done the Fox animation block, right? Because that was
Mhm.
more relevant to what I was watching. I wasn't allowed to watch The Simpsons for a while, and I had to sneak episodes in the 2000s. And then when I finally was watching it, it was like not very good anymore. And then listeners
Mhm.
know, like 2 or 3 years ago, I did the Simpsons meme initiative where I watched like over 100 episodes of the Simpsons in a couple months, and I've like absorbed that show into my bones. Um,
Right.
and then Family Guy I watched a lot as a kid. And again, these are not shows that we talked about today, that we watched today. But I'm saying like
Yep.
that's that type of adult animation was my bread and butter. I've watched the World of Warcraft episode of South Park like 10 times. It's the
Yeah.
best episode of South Park, a show that I have no interest in watching more of. Um,
Same.
and then these shows, like I've been aware of them, but they were kind of like considered weird for me. I was a little young to be watching them, just like right on the cusp of being old enough.
Mhm.
I don't mean to make people feel old out there, but um did not watch through at least 3 or 4 of these. And then we'll get to it, but Futurama, I had one really beautiful summer 2012, summer after we graduated high school, where I watched everything of Futurama that had been released up to that point, all the movies and every season.
Yep. Yep.
And I am due for a rewatch. I'm extremely fond of that show, and I hold it in very high regard. So
Yeah.
that's like sort of my history with this whole. I love adult animation. I think it's wonderful, and it's really cool, basically, to see the origins of like we're gonna talk about Beavis and Butthead, but it's like they had to really beg to get this stuff on TV at first, and now
Mhm.
it's like you cannot turn Fox on a Sunday night without catching 4+ of these, and then Netflix gets one of these every 2-3 months, anyways. So
Yeah.
we're in a period of a good time for adult animation right now, I'd say.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I think it's not a genre that in and of itself I find particularly compelling. Like there are a few shows that I've just been told over and over again, "Oh my god, this show's great." And it's like, but I hate looking at it. Like
Yeah.
Bob's Burgers, it's like I hate
Aww.
looking at it. And like people, that's their reaction because it's like, no, that show's awesome.
It is
Or like
awesome.
BoJack Horseman, it's like everyone I
Oh,
know and whose opinions I trust are like, oh my god, you got to watch it. And I'm sure I would love it, but I hate looking at it. Like for me, um, I think my adult animation is kind of in this weird intersection where it's like it has to have the sensibilities of sitcoms that I like,
sure.
and it has to have the aesthetics of animation that I like. So it's like twice as difficult for a show to clear those hurdles
Yep.
for me to be like, okay, I want to watch this. Um, because you know, it yeah, that's a complete thought. Period.
Yeah.
I think when
Doubly
it
high bar
comes
to
to
clear.
yeah, I think when it comes to like comedy stuff, because I agree, I don't want to watch South Park for this. I don't really want to watch Family Guy for this. I, I think,
I would watch The Simpsons for this, but we already have both watched so much of The Simpsons that I guarantee you 100% of that podcast would be us reciting lines back and forth to each other.
Mhm,
And there are like 700 Simpsons
there's
podcasts.
so many Simpsons Yeah, it's just like we're at saturation for people doing this kind of rewatch content about The Simpsons
Yeah.
because The Simpsons was a huge part of my childhood.
Yeah.
Um, And I think those are the adult animation programs that I end up really gravitating towards, is ones where it's like, yeah, we're going to air this at, 7 p.m. or whatever
Mhm.
on Fox. It's not like a Saturday morning cartoon, but the point is not to do like raunchy stuff or like everybody's high or like, haha, this is gross. It's like, no, we're going to do a sitcom that has layers of, here's kind of broad, like physical, oh, it's so funny when Bart shows his butt or
Mhm.
whatever. And we're going to kind of go all the way up to like, there's very nuanced character relationships and
Yes.
that kind of thing. And so I've been able to enjoy The Simpsons as a kid and as a young person and as an adult because it has um, like a few layers of appeal and humor going on there.
Mhm.
Um, and it had like, in my household, we would literally, when the couch gags were playing, my stepdad would shout "funny part" is what we called it, and we would all run in
Aww.
onto the couch to watch The Simpsons as they were running to the couch in the show. Um,
That's the cutest thing ever.
yeah. So it'll be interesting to talk about these because a lot of these programs are ones where I've been aware of them for one reason or another, and have been like, I don't think I like the humor, or like, I don't think I like the animation. Um, but this is a good chance to kind of give them a fair shake.
Yeah, leave your comfort zone a little bit. I
Yeah.
agree 100%, and that's how we get to the weird nature of the shows that we're covering for this bracket. Is like we both have a lot of experience with adult animation, and we want to see things that are outside of our experience zone, um,
Yeah.
to potentially cover and to discuss for the pod. So, ultimately, Student Couch to Madness is about representing each of the divisions fairly and also like building a season of a podcast. Um, God,
Yep.
I have so much authority when I speak while standing, and I can lean against the table and kind of like hands down like this. This is cool, y'all. Those who are just
Yeah.
listening don't realize I'm standing right now. So, anyways, I would like to start with our first show, if that's okay with you.
Let's do it. So our first series that we're going to talk about is Beavis and Butthead. And technically, we watched episode 2, right? The
Yeah.
blood one.
Yes. Yes.
Um, what
So
was
this
it called? Blood something. Blood Town.
this is the yeah, really annoying thing about Beavis and Butthead is that the episode titles. Well, first of all, like getting access to the show is hard as fuck. And second of all, the episodes have like really weird specific titles. So you're like, wait, what was it's the one, and because also the show it's like 5 minute long shorts.
Yeah.
We're talking about the one where they go to the blood drive and they end up getting too much blood taken out of them. That's the
Yeah.
episode that we're watching.
Yeah.
They're the first episode that Mike Judge ever made for Beavis and Butthead is called Frog Baseball. That's on YouTube if you want to watch it. It's got one gag in it that I think is funny. The rest of is stupid. But anyways, tell
Mhm.
me about the blood episode, please.
Yeah. So this was the first one available on streaming, which is why we watched it.
Yep,
I'm assuming there's like big gaps in what's available because of music rights,
that's
I'd
correct.
imagine.
That's correct.
Yeah. So written, directed by Mike Judge, um, premiered in 1993 on MTV.
Oh, the episode's called Give Blood. I just found it. Sorry.
Give Blood. Give Blood. And what was the air date of Give Blood? Do you have that handy?
I can get it for you really fast.
Please give
Yeah.
blood to me.
Second season 1, fourth overall episode aired. Give me an air date. March 8th, 1993.
March 8th, 1993. Okay. Yeah, so give blood. You got Beavis, you got Butthead. They're like, we should give blood. Ha ha ha. Oh, Beavis. I don't know. Ha ha. Well, do we even have enough blood to give blood? Yeah, we got blood. Let's go give blood. Ha ha. And then they give too much, and then they watch a music video. And that's it. Look, I wasn't a huge fan. I think part of the issue is I've been so aware of Beavis and Butthead for so long,
Yeah.
and like I've known the voices. Uh, I I don't think it's possible for any episode of Beavis and Butthead to be funnier to me than sitting in my dad's pickup truck or on the highway and he's doing the voices in the car. I don't think any Beavis and Butthead episode could ever reach my belief that that was like the funniest thing that I had ever experienced in my life when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. How did you feel about it? Did you like these guys?
I mean, I'm with you in that Beavis and Butthead was not something I liked, but it was something I've heard referenced because, like, one of our podcast touchstones from our early era was the Comedy Button, which is a comedy podcast that neither of us listen to anymore, but at the time featured a lot of the hosts who are older than us doing Beavis and Butthead impressions. And so I have this show in my brain via proxy of people who are older than me. And like my older cousin, who's 40 now, is like, she watched it a little bit. And so I remember it being on TV, but like, yeah, I watched this and I was like, you know what? I totally get it. And I know I say this a lot on TCTM. I get it. And it's not for me. And that's okay. It's like watching Star Trek TOS. You know, we've been getting some really good dialogue in the Chatz Discord about how like, oh, TOS is like a good show actually. And it has its problems, but like, it's comfortable in a way that the rest of Star Trek is not like comfortable. Don't get mad. Get in the chat if you want to get mad, motherfucker. You can't just get mad from a distance. You can do whatever you want.
I'm allowed to feel like
you're
is wrong, but go ahead.
Yes, you are. The conversation is more nuanced than I'm making it seem. Is what I'm getting.
I'm sure.
And so I'm like, I can do the same thing with Beavis and Butthead that I do with Star Trek, where I'm like, I see why somebody likes this or liked this, because music videos were a novel and cool thing, and these are short, so they would like air in between things. It's not like it was meant to be your favorite show. Like the fact that they got a movie, you know, Beavis and Butthead Take Over the World, I believe it's called, versus the World,
something like that. Yeah,
is like kind of remarkable. Mike Judge got extremely lucky in the 80s and 90s. I don't know if you, and we're going to talk about him a lot because 3 of these shows are spawned from him technically. Because Daria is a spin-off of Beavis and Butthead, and King of the Hill is another Mike Judge co-production.
Wait, Daria is a spin-off of Beavis and Butthead?
Yeah, you didn't know that? Daria is a spin-off. Let me repeat that sentence. Daria is a spin-off of Beavis and Butthead. I wanted to ask you to watch the first episode where Daria is on Beavis and Butthead. Because he's like not even that involved in the Daria show. And I'll talk about that when we get to Daria.
Yeah.
Beavis and Butthead. Mike Judge. He graduates with a degree in physics. And he's like, I cannot connect with my work. Computer science is not for me. It's the late 80s. I'm not happy. I'm going to start making short little animated films. Teach myself how to draw. Teach myself how to animate. He makes Frog Baseball, which is a short where Beavis and Butthead like hit frogs with baseball bats. And then they go, Frog Baseball! They just yell, and it's actually kind of, the way they do it is funny. I don't know why it's funny. He cold pitches the show to the net. See, that was funny. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That is the thing about Beavis and Butthead, is like, it disarms you with how stupid it is. And to a point where you're like, wait, that was kind of fun. And so like, he does that for a while. He bases the characters on a kid in his calculus class. Like, this is just the most regular ass dorky guy who's like, I don't know, I just want to make a cartoon. And MTV's like, sure, dude, you can have 3 minutes a night. Go for it. What are you going to do? And again, half of it, as we said, is this MST3K style. We watch music videos that Beavis and Butthead would have thought were cool. And then half of it is this wacky and wild world of this like fake town in Texas where they walk around and go on adventures to meet girls and get money. Like freaking Ed, Edd and Eddy. But like for adults. And does it work for me? Kind of, to an extent. Did I laugh at it? No. Would I watch more of it? No. But I get why somebody likes it. I simply do. I lie. Like, if you're a stoner or you're in the 90s and you're a similarly jaded, bored Gen Xer, you're like, this is fucking funny. I want to do this impression at school.
Yeah. Look, I think Mike Judge is funny. I said it.
Whoa. Idiocracy? I don't know. I haven't seen it in a long time.
I haven't seen it, but like, I really like Office Space. It's a great movie. I've enjoyed episodes of Silicon Valley. You know, there's like all sorts of stuff that he's done where
Mm-hmm.
it's like, yeah, Mike Judge is funny, has the bona fides. And there are flashes in here of like, that is a really funny line.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think really my feeling about Beavis and Butthead is it doesn't, which makes complete sense. It doesn't really work outside of the context in which it existed
Mm-hmm.
to me.
Yeah.
And I know that again we're watching like one of the earliest episodes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's very possible that there's later ones that are more like finely tuned little comedic gems. Um, but it kind of feels like the best environment for this show is like, whoa, it's late at night and I've been watching music videos and all of a
Yeah.
sudden one of these videos, these guys are like saying something over it. Whoa, that was really funny,
Mm-hmm.
man. Oh my gosh. And I think I feel a little like I kind of mourn the loss of that a little bit, that kind of content, or art,
Yeah.
perhaps you could say. Um,
You could.
being like broadly culturally relevant.
Yeah.
Because we haven't lost like silly short form comedy. There's a Beavis and Butthead being born every day. Is a thing that I could say with a big cigar in a boardroom or something. Um,
They're in Fortnite. We'll put Beavis in
um,
Fortnite.
but we're not really so much in the same media environment anymore where you could have these two characters who exist on a TV channel and everybody knows them and knows the voices and is doing it all the time.
Yes.
So there's like something undeniably special about Beavis and Butthead's existence as a cultural object
Mm-hmm.
that I can appreciate and really admire, that's separate from the question of like, do I want to sit and watch more of these episodes? I don't know. I kind of get it. I think I'm good. Yeah.
If you're 40 and you've ever tried weed, you're so pissed. You're like, no, this is the best show ever. And like, they made this for you guys, right? They made a reboot, but I don't think anybody watched it. Like,
Yeah.
it's just the thing about being a fan of something in the 80s or 90s is, and this is like a bigger point about nostalgia we don't have to go too deep into. And actually, we will go into again when we talk about King of the Hill.
Right.
Almost anything you like from that time that you hold dear and you're like, man, was that good? They probably made another one because you are now the age of TV executives who are like making decisions like that, or they just care about your demographic enough. So you're going to get your little reboot. There's a Paramount Plus Beavis and Butthead reboot. I think it's not very, I watched like 5 minutes of it. It's not very good. It's ridiculous. We don't live in a media landscape where we watch music videos anymore. That whole half of the show premise is dead. So Beavis and Butthead can't exist in 2020. And I think that question of like, does comedy age or how does comedy age is so interesting that I watch Beavis and Butthead, and like some of the oldest stuff I actually think ages well because it's just pure kids being stupid, making money and chasing after girls. But when it's like music videos or like talking about stuff from the 90s, I'm like, oof, this is so of its time. It's like one of the most of its time shows we've ever watched.
Right. Well, and I think it, for me, it raises these kind of philosophical questions a little bit about, you know, the thing that we're doing as a rewatch analysis podcast, which I think we want to sort of assume, and kind of like by nature of creating this process, we're sort of saying like, okay, 64 shows, we can, like, a show is a show is a show. We can metabolize shows in the same way as one another. You watch an episode, are we going to watch more of it? We can discuss it a couple episodes at a time. We can experience the entirety of the thing linearly, and that will have some kind of coherence. And it's just not actually a given. Like that is a series of assumptions
Yeah.
about, well, what is television and what is it for and who is it for? And something like Beavis and Butthead is television in such a different way, where it's like, no, this is designed to be ephemeral and designed to exist fully within its context. Like, it is on MTV for 5 minutes in between stuff. That's where it is. We are not creating this expecting that you're going to buy the Beavis and Butthead collection on DVD and be able to watch it one episode at a time. And TV doesn't necessarily have to be created for that. But then it's sort of like, what do we do with that as podcasters? Do we do anything with that? Are there just certain TV objects like this where we're like, yeah, we just kind of can't do it?
Yeah.
It's interesting.
It's a show that directly repels what we do here. And that's why I'm glad that we got to check it out. It's like, don't look at me. Just let me pass by and exist. And I'm like, but I have thoughts about you. And you're like, no, don't. I'm already gone. You know?
Yeah.
The fact that they got a movie. Sorry, it's called Beavis and Butthead Do America, which is really hilarious. The fact they got a movie with all the celebrity talent is so funny, but speaks to how much of a cultural force they were for like 5 minutes. The mid 90s. Into the late 90s, I'd even say. You have people doing Beavis and Butthead impressions. You have celebrities like Bruce Willis and Demi Moore on the Beavis and Butthead movie. It's like, what the fuck? Why are you so pop? That's the thing. Is like, Mike Judge is so fucking lucky because he taps into what people like at the time. You know, Silicon Valley hits at the right era of streaming TV. Idiocracy hits at the right time of like jaded 2000s millennials. Beavis and Butthead hits and like the burnt out MTV Gen Xers. Like, he just does this and it works consistently. And Beavis and Butthead is just another example of that. But like you said, these are shorts basically. And even the longer form episodes I was able to find, I was like, the jokes just don't hold up. Like, I don't really want to watch that movie particularly badly. I think it exists in its time. Some things can just exist in their time, and that's more than okay.
Yeah. Well, and I think this is kind of my last thought about Beavis and Butthead, is like 10 years later, 2003, this is not on TV. I mean, maybe it's like Adult Swim, like there's
or syndication.
There's still stuff like this. But I don't mean, sorry, what I mean is like, if Beavis and Butthead were created in 2003, like that's when it started.
Yeah.
It would be like, or even let's say 15 years later, right? 2008.
Yeah.
It would be a flash series on a website, or it would be on, YouTube or Newgrounds or something. Like, there are plenty of things from when we were kids where it's like some guy made a couple characters and a couple silly voices and had the characters talk to each other. And what's interesting to me is like something like Homestar Runner, for example, could work in the Chatz format, because like now there's this very brief window where it's like TV looks a certain way because of MTV. On MTV, Beavis and Butthead is existing in there.
Yeah.
And then we're leaving that window, and now we're kind of back to like what we understand TV to be, which is this sort of periodical visual medium. And now like everything is kind of that. TV, YouTube, movies.
Yeah.
It's like all kind of episodes of a thing. So yeah, that's interesting to me too, is like you could very easily see Mike Judge being 10 years younger, and Beavis and Butthead as an idea is it's like a YouTube series or something.
Totally.
And the linearity of it and the idea that it's all going to be viewed as a cohesive whole, it's like, oh yeah, totally, because I'm putting it on my website or on my YouTube channel or whatever.
Yeah, these are YouTubers now. These are like commentary YouTubers. And we have that, but that all comes from stuff like this, like MST3K. Like, hey, what's going on? This music video is weird. Let's talk about it. there are some funny lines in this.
Oh yeah, there's good lines.
They're watching the like Mephisto hot tubs. Mephisto's House of Hot Tubs is a great place for a soak. And then they do like 3 different variations of that joke in a row. Just like very rapid fire, funny. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't love watching, hot tub ladies getting murdered, but I did think that line was pretty good.
No, yeah. This is a pretty misogynist show. It's like when the characters are misogynist, it's the funniest thing in the world because they're like, you're stupid. You're going to, it's like Legion's Larry or something. Like the point is that you suck and you don't get the girl. But they even reference frog baseball. I'm sorry, but yelling frog baseball is funny. Those are 2 words that go well.
That's funny.
Do you have anything else on Beavis and Butthead?
I really was amused by the nurse who's taking their blood, being like, either you boys on any kind of medication, and then they're like, like they just answer every question wrong, and she's like, well, beggars can't be choosers, like we need your blood. So,
and then she gets caught up on the phone with like a interesting conversation, and she's like, oh, you guys are gonna die, that's my bad.
Yeah.
There was another one I watched where they work at a fast food restaurant, but then they get robbed, and then they annoy the guy too much that the cop just comes in and they're like, stop putting that gun on my back, idiot. And then he gets arrested. That's the whole skit. But like, I don't know. My final point on Beavis and Butthead before we move on, it doesn't have to be good. The show doesn't have to walk on its knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft bunghole of your body love what it loves.
Oh, don't even get me started on Cornholio.
Don't get me started. I have been holding on to that joke for like a week.
So stupid.
Everybody read Mary Oliver. Go watch the Mary Oliver documentary later this year.
Oh my god. Okay, Beavis is the blonde one. Is that right?
Yes, it is.
Kiki Balba, who's which?
Oh, I mean, my like default brain wants to say, Kiki is Beavis, Balba is Butthead.
That feels right to me.
I think it's that simple.
All right.
I think Beavis is funny as fuck.
Between the two of us, who's Beavis and who's Butthead?
I think I'm Beavis. I don't mean to say like I think I'm the funnier one. I do not mean that. I do not mean that.
Yeah, I think you are Beavis.
But I think you bring a level-headed sanity to the insanity that is our friendship, and that resembles Butthead. God, they're ugly.
They are gross.
I like doing the higher pitched voice, and you like doing the lower pitched voice. Also, that's the other thing.
Wait, but that
Hey Beavis. Hey Beavis.
That's Butthead.
isn't that voice that says, I don't know, whatever.
Mind you, these are both Mike Judge. That's always the funniest thing about watching Beavis and Butthead is it is one man doing 2 voices. Don't forget that.
Yeah, they're good voices. He does good voices. All right, let's talk about our next show, which chronologically is another Mike Judge program. Probably his other very, very well-known animated show, King of the Hill. So
while the world goes on, the sun and the clear pebbles of the petrol are moving across the Texas landscape over the propane petrol. Jesus Christ!
Yeah.
Over the propane and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Yeah. All right, I'll close this tab.
The mountains and the rivers and the propane accessories.
Okay, King of the Hill.
Okay, King of the Hill. So we watched the first episode of season 1, which is called Pilot, written by Mike Judge and Greg Daniels,
co-creator.
Another big kind of comedy person, would go on to work on, I think, create or co-create The American Office and Parks and Rec and all sorts of stuff.
True.
Directed by Wesley Archer, aired January 12th, 1997 on Fox. Alan, what happened in the pilot episode of King of the Hill?
Oh my god, bro. Greg Daniels also went to Harvard and worked on the 5th season of The Simpsons. Come on! That's amazing.
He's another one of these like Harvard, what's it called? Simpsons guys.
Is there a name for that?
Harvard. There's like a Harvard comedy magazine, Harvard Lampoon.
Harvard Lampoon. Yes, it is.
Yeah. Like Conan O'Brien is a Lampoon guy.
Yeah, him and Conan became friends. Okay, so this episode pilot In this one, propane salesman Hank Hill becomes concerned when his reserved son Bobby begins spending time with the eccentric Laotian family next door, leading Hank to question both his parenting and his own understanding of his son.
Is that the correct summary for this?
Oh no! Well, this is the one about the Child Protective Services, CPS agent.
Yeah.
God dang it!
Yeah.
I am getting worse at writing summaries, guys. I apologize.
It's okay.
Because the problem is that like I keep. That might be like the fucking reboot episode. Well, that's just season 15. Give me a sec. Pilot. Strickland propane salesman family and Hank Hill is accused of beating his. This is serious, guys. Beating his son Bobby after Bobby gets a black eye from getting hit in the face with a baseball game during a Little League game. Rumors spread that Hank beat up a teenage Megalon Mart employee who he really just yelled at for knowing if the store sells a tap and die in WD-40. Meanwhile, Hank's friends, conspiracy nut Dale Gribble, down and out Army barber Bill Doderive, and fast-talking womanizer Jeff Boomhauer try to fix his truck, while Luann Platter, Hank's niece, moves in with the Hills, and her parents get sent to jail. This episode is also known as Bobby the Baseball Phenom. Okay, that's where we're at. Magellan, I think we have similar history with King of the Hill. Can you tell me what that history is, please?
My history with King of the Hill is it was my way of knowing that The Simpsons was over or that I had turned the TV on too early. I can't remember when it aired relative to The Simpsons.
Yeah.
But I've seen the opening sequence partway through many, many times. It was a show that I was I think a classic example of like probably a comedic sensibility that would appeal to me, but God, I don't like looking at this show. I do not like looking at these weak chin, small faced little people. It's off-putting. Which is like a me problem, and I understand that. But I know the voices. God damn it, Bobby. Like I've done that voice before. I think probably the most substantial viewing of anything King of the Hill I've done, which I'm sure you were going to talk about this, is a beloved video of yours, a YouTube poop edit of King of the Hill.
Hank of the Hill.
I want you to talk about Hank of the Hill. Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, exact same leading up to that point, which is that I also knew that The Simpsons was over. I think it was like Simpsons, then Family Guy, then King of the Hill. Maybe I don't remember the order, but yeah, in my mind, it's like the beginning of the King of the Hill's theme song indicates that I leave the TV or turn it off.
Yes.
I got the appeal of this show. And then, yeah, like 7 or 8 years ago, maybe more. No, like more. Because I remember it was around the same time I discovered Hamilton. You showed me Hamilton, which was like, 11 years ago. Oh my God, I'm going to blow up.
What a combo.
And so Hank of the Hill is a YouTube poop, which if folks don't know, is a concept where you edit a show to make in absurd ways to make it even funnier. You create new jokes out of the edit. Go look up Hank of the Hill re-upload on YouTube. You can watch it. We quote it a lot. I've quoted it a lot to Magellan over the years. It's great. That's based on an episode we haven't watched yet. The other story I have about King of the Hill is I was like kind of interested in the show because I always am like, oh, what could be my new like comfort show? I had Frasier for that one summer. I've obviously had The Simpsons for a while. I had an ex who was extremely, extremely obsessed with King of the Hill. They were like really, really into the show. And so for a while I was like, I don't want to watch the show because I don't like associating my thoughts with that person. I didn't like last very long, and nothing like horrible happened. It just was like not a good relationship from the get-go. And I like remember being at their house, their apartment, watching King of the Hill, like some middle season episode. And I was like, oh, the show's fine, I guess. And I didn't like care about it. But then the TV people I follow said that the reboot is like legitimately one of the best animated show reboots of like the reboot era.
Yeah, our roommate has been watching it like pretty consistently, and every time I walk into the living room and it's playing, I'm like, oh, this show seems good.
Yeah,
it's like very intentional and like funny but heartfelt. Is King of the Hill good?
Yeah, well, I think what people liked about it at the time and what they've really successfully leaned into with the reboot, from what I've heard, is the show approaches its characters with a pretty deep well of empathy and realism.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it
Yeah.
doesn't make fun of, like, I think Family Guy never really like leans into empathy. It leans into like, you're allowed to hate these people or you're allowed to think they're funny.
Yeah,
But
it's
King
like
of the
full on absurdism. Yeah.
Right, King of the Hill wants you to see different perspectives and understand, what does a conservative father in Texas in the 90s, how does he raise his son? How does he navigate masculinity? And we have this character of Bobby, who is like legitimately one of animated TV and maybe one of TV's like best teenage characters. Just so
Mm-hmm.
beautifully rendered. Pamela Adlon's performance is like so iconic. And then you
Yeah.
have Brittany Murphy as Luann, who like will go on to be a character who the show has a lot of empathy for, and Peggy, same thing. It's just like everybody on the show matters, and we care about them. And yeah, there are jokes, there are background, there's darkness to their backstory, but like they love each other and they care, and this show kind of set the blueprint for like, and I get The Simpsons was doing it too, but like, oh, these guys go up to some wacky adventures, but they all love each other.
Mm-hmm.
But this one's like really relatable in a way The Simpsons wasn't always relatable to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's just felt, and that's the thing about the animation style too, man, is like they look ugly, but they look really real. Like it's a
Yes.
cartoon, but people's proportions are like hyper realistic. I mean, like the chins are a little bit extended, but like, you know,
Mhm.
Hank Hill's silhouette, which is in the background of the logo of the show, is so, that's like what my dad looks like. You know, you could tell me that was my father, and I'd be like, yeah, that's like a beer belly
Mhm.
and, you know, a hairline. It's just like they take like good looking animation, goes to the side in favor of just real life expressions, very realistic expressions.
Mm-hmm.
And it can look a
Mhm.
little weird. It's unsettling because we're not used to it.
Mm-hmm.
That was a lot, but I want to hear what you thought about this episode.
I really liked it a lot. I vibed with exactly what you're describing, this kind of groundedness and reality, and the way that this show, it honestly felt to me like, whoa, feels pretty ahead of its time, because I think we're now on the other side of, and maybe we're not on the other side of it, but you know, in the 2010s, there was a lot of kind of like redneck America empathy porn kind of stuff. And a lot of that, there were like grifters grifting in that space, like Vice President JD Vance, for example.
Yeah.
Sort of grifting off of like, oh, and I wouldn't even say that his book is like empathy so much as like contempt and derision for, you know, Appalachia or whatever. But you know, 2017, I feel like we saw so many fucking New York Times articles that were like, we went to the diner and talked to the Trump voter, and what did they, this whole like, yeah, I guess we should be empathetic, but it all has felt so kind of like up its own ass and artificial and fake and like willfully both sidesy. And what I really, really like about King of the Hill is it's a show about soon. What I really like about King of the Hill is it's a show that I don't think I would want to spend a single minute with Hank Hill in real life, probably. Like, I think we would disagree about quite a lot of things, and I don't think we have a lot in common. I don't want to drink beer with him. I don't want to look at his car engine. And the show isn't like, no, you're supposed to like Hank Hill. The show is like, yeah. There's things about him that are off-putting, and can you challenge yourself to allow him to be the main character, and what does that do?
Very well said.
And it's like fascinating and really admirable, I think, the way that the show makes fun of everyone and makes you empathize with everyone. Yeah, so I really appreciated it for that, I think.
And I think that's something people really liked about the American Office too. Is like these
Mhm.
aren't good people, but
Yeah.
you
that's a
know,
good
sometimes
point.
it's nice to be in there. And it's this portrait of an America that the like coastal elite doesn't often get to interact with. Like
Mm.
I still get clips every once in a while of like what I actually enjoy, which is Bernie Sanders going to a diner in the South and talking to people, and you know, the
Right.
classic realization that like we are not that different. We all hate billionaires. We're just being
Mhm.
sold. We're just being sold and bought into different value systems about how to fix those problems, right? Ultimately, we're all
Mhm.
Americans here. And I think King of the Hill is like very much about those types of people. And it's like, yeah, they exist, man. And they're raising their kids, and there's kids like Bobby out there in the South doing their thing and trying to carve out an existence and be happy. And does he love his dad? Absolutely, to the end. It's like that's
Mhm.
what I mean by the well of empathy. It's not like everybody here is lovable. It's just like everybody here exists and deserves to exist. And it's okay. And the world does look like this. And you can't stay in your like, you know, East Coast bubble of like the way, oh my God, I can't believe a conservative father would say this, or that he would, you know, the gossip around the town. People are so petty. It's like, yeah,
Mhm.
I'm sorry, but people grew up like that and lived there and still live there. And
Yeah.
that's America, right? It's like kind of, is it uncomfortable to look at? Yeah, sometimes. Is it true though? Yeah. And so a lot of the stuff that we do up here is also kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
So I get why some people have such love for the show, is because it's a rare look at a part of the country that we don't have this much kindness for usually in media.
Mhm. Yeah, and it does that. It's not this kind of like it's not pablum. Like it's not like, hey, you should feel bad for people, or like you should listen to people who are different from you or whatever.
Mm.
It's really just like you should listen. Like you
Yeah.
should pay attention. You should notice the details. The reason that the CPS agent is an antagonistic force in the episode has nothing to do with antagonistic intent, right? It ends up being an issue of him coming in with a preconception about the neighborhood, who's in it, how they are, how they treat their kids, political assumptions, and those assumptions leading him to miss, like, well, is there a more straightforward explanation why this kid might have a baseball shaped injury? Does he play baseball? Maybe. Like,
Yeah.
could that be what it is? And I think that that ends up being a really powerful way to do a pilot episode. Because one, you have the narrative device of the CPS agent can like go around and interview characters and be like, so you're a character on King of the Hill, what's your deal? And they can
Yeah.
be like, yeah, this is my voice and this is what I do. um, and the CPS agent can also be kind of like an audience surrogate for folks who don't see themselves in Hank Hill or his family or his friends. And then by the end of the episode, it's like, no. These are your main characters. And we want you to, you don't have to like forget that you have your own politics or things that you find upsetting. Um, but you do need to tolerate empathizing with characters who are not going to be like your version of people who you agree with or who you'd hang out with. Because you know what? They watch Seinfeld too. Okay.
Yeah. The double layer of them saying it's a goddamn show about nothing in a show that is about nothing is
Yeah. I, I love that. Like, yeah, you think Seinfeld's about nothing? Those guys live in New York. Like, they've got interesting lives. This is a show about nothing.
right.
This,
That
yeah.
line plus the CPS character, it really like sticks its foot in the ground. This is a show about Texas also,
Yeah.
and like the South and Southern hospitality, and how that hospitality can also be double-sided. Like the
Mm.
extended sequence at the top of the episode of the different moms and girlfriends of the town of Arlen like whispering to each other, did you hear that Hank Hill, did you hear what he did to his
Mhm.
son? And you're like,
Mhm.
wow, the way that a rumor can pass like a game of telephone, like that's very funny, and also clearly based in reality, clearly based in like a thing that is, you know, known to happen in those like
Mm.
tight knit communities who are usually are also very loving. Both things can be true, but we get the CPS agent who is like a scrawny redhead from Los Angeles, like as
Mhm.
outside of this show's repertoire as he can be. And the show plays around him. They knock him around a little bit. They make fun of him. He's weak, like he can't do things.
Mhm.
But like the point is that he's fine. He just doesn't belong here. Like we don't need this. You don't have to be here. No, we don't hate you. I think you just don't understand the situation we have here. Is kind of like the takeaway I got.
Yeah. And I do think the one thing about the episode that I was a little like, come on, is that the resolution is he gets sent back to Los Angeles, which is sort of, I don't know if I think that is the right outcome, but because it's not that anything that he was saying was wrong, right?
Correct.
Like he does end up saying things that give Bobby the language to say like, Dad, I don't like the way you talk to me sometimes.
Yeah.
Like maybe you need to be more thoughtful about when you're shouting at me. What does he say? Loud is wrong. Loud is not allowed. Which is like, kind of a funny, silly rhyming thing. And I think the show does a good job of depicting that it's a bit cringe. And like this guy who's coming in saying this stuff, it's like, okay, what spaceship dropped you off on planet Earth for you to be talking like this?
Yeah.
And also like Hank Hill has some anger issues and could treat his son better.
Yeah.
So I like that we can kind of hold space for all those things.
It's nuanced. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
very nuanced. Like the sort of like tearful hug at the end, right? Is a hug. It's an I love you, and then it's a shadow boxing. Like we're gonna play box with each other. And the punchline is that the CPS agent, as he leaves, goes, "Wait, look, he's punching his kid," and they're like, "Shut up," because it's like clearly they're play fighting. And you're like, man, this show has such an interesting lens on its characters. Like, yeah, this stuff could totally read as harmful or abusive from the outside, or sad, or fucked up. Even like every character, right? Dale and his wife. What's going on with the Red Corns? That storyline, from what I remember and what I've read about, is fascinating, and also carries with it a like deep well of kindness and empathy for all of its characters. The Red Corns, to Dale's son, like to his wife, like everything that seems like it's just gonna be like a haha fuck you joke is like, well, what if you stopped for a second and thought about like where that came from? Because like, sorry, your point.
No. Go. I'm listening to you. Go ahead.
Hank can like be a harmful father who yells, and even in the Boggle episode that is famously chopped and screwed in Hank of the Hill, is about him like taking it too seriously and yelling at Peggy, and then he has to become a helpful coach. We see in this episode explicitly that that's because of the way his father treated him. We get like a 5-second flashback where it's like, and we're gonna see more of Conrad Hill. Conrad Hill is a fascinating character. The show has to be like, hey, this all comes from somewhere, and his father was a veteran, and it's the South, and it was culturally accepted that his dad beat him a lot. And I don't know for sure if they ever get into that with him and Bobby, but like the point is Bobby is this generation of kid who's like, wait, Bobby's the kid who has access to the internet for the first time. You know, he's I guess would be considered a millennial, right? He's probably like a mid 80s kid.
Right. I think he's of our generation, probably.
Basically. So he's the first one to be like, Dad, people don't do this anymore. Things can be different. And Hank loves his son so much that he's like, I'm willing to hear you because I don't want to lose my son. My one biological child. Yeah.
I think I really loved, as someone who's of Bobby's generation with parents of Hank's generation, I like really loved and appreciated the way that the show renders what was it like to be kind of like a late boomer parent in the 90s. And I think this is true of my mom, my stepdad, my dad, being stuck in this kind of cognitive dissonance of like, okay, when I was a kid, like my parents were tough.
Yeah.
And I can see ways that was like a harmful experience for me. Maybe in some ways it was like physically harmful if they used corporal punishment, emotionally harmful if they were like distant or dismissive, or I just can tell that there was like some kind of need that wasn't attended to. And so now here they are in the 90s and they're like, well, I don't want my kids to feel that way, but I also don't want to be soft because
Yeah.
that's bad. I think there's something that my parents instilled in me that like a parent's role is to be, the authority figure and whatever. But then there's also all this kind of like cultural messaging around me of, okay, those things are bad and I feel and know that they're bad and I don't really have an alternative. And there's also something threatening, I think, of like, if you're someone whose parent was tough and then you decide to be softer and then your kid turns out well, then it's like, fuck, that hurts even worse.
Pomodoro,
because then like
ultimate Pomodoro effect.
Right.
Yeah.
Then the toughness was like really for nothing. Like it was just cruel. And it wasn't like, but this is how it's got to be. We got to toughen you up. It's like, I guess you didn't. I guess you didn't need to toughen me up. So I really see that in Hank. And the way that he's like on the sideline of the baseball game trying to get Bobby to play better.
Yeah.
And in some ways how like him trying to be a little more intentional helps Bobby get on base. But then the reason that Bobby gets injured is because Hank is like trying to communicate with him, trying to parent him and not able to do it clearly and getting stuck in like, am I supposed to discipline? Am I supposed to support him? Whatever. And the messages are not clear to Bobby. So Bobby's like trying to decipher like, what the fuck is my dad trying to communicate with me? And then he gets hit with a baseball because he's like so distracted by this parental dynamic. Yeah. But like, I remember as a kid that the transition from like, there was a period of my childhood where I was spanked and a period where I wasn't spanked anymore because now it was like wrong and that we're not supposed to be doing that. And like props to my folks for being like, you know what? Everybody's saying we shouldn't do this. I don't think we should do this. Like it happened to us, but I don't think we want to do this. But like as a kid, I know that changed. And I think that's like a very of our generation kind of a thing to be aware of that. To be aware of the fact that our parents were like grappling with that and didn't have a good model or a good answer.
Correct.
For how to play that role. And I think King of the Hill portrays that like so tenderly and beautifully and with such like grace and humor. I really admire it.
It's kind of a show about one of the hardest things that most people in our age group do in therapy, which is the whole accepting that your parents tried their best and they still fucked up, but like that doesn't invalidate the fact that they tried their best and were working with what they had given the context. It's like a show about Bobby navigating that truth and also Hank navigating that truth. Like I said Conrad earlier, Cotton Hill, like his father, Chatz Toby Huss, by the way, from *Halt and Catch Fire*, being like, just I yell at my kid, I hit my kid. That's the way it works. And Hank is like, well, like you said, Magellan, like that just doesn't work anymore. And I love my son. Like I don't want. It's very easy, and it was pretty common, sadly, for a lot of parents of that generation to say like, well, then I fucked my kid up, and I don't love them, or I can't love them the way I want, or I can't discipline them, and I give up, or they've abandoned me and they find their found family. That's how a lot of this story goes. Yeah. But the Hills are like determined to make this work in a way that you're like, man, there is hope even in like how it's kind of like the way that older people talk about All in the Family, where they're like, oh, what if like the parent and the kid could just never get along, but they still loved each other. It feels like that in an animated format.
Yeah. It's a really special show.
It is. And I'm so curious how the reboot handles the changing of time. because like Bobby's 21 in the reboot, which is fascinating. So he's like moved out and like figured his life out and dating and stuff. And then one of the biggest, like, Hank Hill is a character that has been memed and like parodied a lot. The voice is iconic. The silhouette, as I said, the different lines. When they announced they were doing a King of the Hill reboot, pretty much everybody was like, well, obviously Hank votes for Trump, right? Obviously they're going to do a whole episode about how Hank voted for Trump. And like, from what I understand, a couple things. First of all, separate from Hank, I think Dale probably voted for Trump because Dale is an internet conspiracy theorist.
For sure.
Like that's immediately the first thing they talk about is him being like, oh, well, the government is lying about, and you're like, okay, cool, I know who you are. You're a real person who exists today.
Yeah, anti-Semitic dog whistles all over it. It's like, okay, man, whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, Dale.
I do, and I again don't. You guys can correct me if you want. I haven't watched the reboot yet. I don't think that Hank would have voted for Trump because
he probably just wouldn't have voted. He probably would have just sat out that election.
He probably wouldn't have voted because think about it. He is a like conservative in like socially, not like what people tell me on the internet to vote for. He's like, this guy is an actor from Hollywood who still wants to be my president. I don't want a Hollywood type, and that's it. And then he doesn't vote for Trump. Like, it has nothing to do with Trump talking about jobs or immigration or whatever. I don't know if Hank is anti-immigrant. I mean, he lives next to a bunch of immigrants. Like, the Redcords are a wonderful family in the show. I just don't, like you said, I don't think he would have voted. I think he would have been like, this is stupid, I'm not voting. It's so easy to be like, well, obviously Hank Hill is MAGA. Everyone at King of the Hill is MAGA. And it comes back to the show's original point, which is like, what if you actually met these people? Not what if you read the memes or saw them on the internet and were like, oh, whatever, they're all weird rednecks. It's like, no, they're people with opinions and jobs, and they struggle financially like we all do, and they're blue collar.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of gets to like, at the core of politically left, politically right, there's like a fundamental value statement that everybody could get on board with. I think for the left, it's like, wouldn't it be nice if things were better? If we could change things so that they were good. And on the right, I think it's like, shouldn't we hold on to the things that make sense and work?
Yeah.
Like, I think a lot of the animating, like the animus of conservative politics is like, I'm trying to make sense of the world.
Yeah.
And if the world starts moving so quickly that things that I made sense of change, then I'm never going to feel rooted or feel like I understand or like I can do things correctly or like I can envision the future if it's all going to be so different. And I think that's Hank, where he's like, I understand like why I need to treat my son differently. And I understand, this person in the hardware store is just trying to be helpful, but like, I know what I need from the store. I just need to go get it. Like, if you're going to change even the way I interact at the hardware store, where can I anchor myself?
Yeah, genuine, real problem.
Yeah. So, and that, that's something that I can like empathize with and also have a little skepticism about, because that's just politically where I'm at. But
right.
Yeah.
I think all four of these shows, despite being animated, have like a very realistic character at their center who like exists in a specific generational divide. The jaded Gen Xer, the burnt out millennial, the like exhausted but like curious boomer. It's all like
buttheads of the world.
The buttheads of the world, of course.
Yeah.
I could talk about King of the Hill for days. I think it's a fascinating show. I am interested in watching more of it. The voice performances are amazing. And I wish I gave the show more of a shot when I was a kid, because it's really well done. I think the best line of the episode, real quickly, and I'm sure you're going to bring this up as well, Bobby, towards the end, when Peggy asks him, like, your father loves you. And he says, I can't make him love me even when I screw up. Or can. Am I getting that line correct? Just like, Bobby's like thought about this relationship a lot. He's not just like a dumb, like he's not Bart Simpson, you know. He's not just like, and then dad always yells at me. It's like, I really want dad to like me. I want to shadowbox with him and like be goofy and stupid, and I can't tell when he yells at me at baseball. It doesn't feel like he loves me. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
oh my god, that's Pamela Adlon, man. That's like some of the best voice work in the fucking show.
Yeah, and I think that's what's even harder about, folks of our parents' generation. If you had a parent who like never even permitted thinking that way, that like, oh, my dad is trying to do something here. And so that invites me as the kid to think about like, okay, where is he succeeding, but where is he failing? If you have a parent who's like, this is what I do, like our relationship has this kind of like gulf in the middle of it, and I'm not inviting you to witness me trying to do something, then as that parent, you're not going to experience your kid being like, oh, you're letting me down. But in one like this, where you're like, okay, I'm Hank Hill, I'm trying, you're going to then see your failure more because you're like opening yourself up to being vulnerable in that way. And that's tough because you're like, you're on the front line of like trying to make this shit better, but I don't know. And now my son is sad and fuck, man, this sucks. Yeah.
Bobby Hill's got pronouns. He's friends with trans people. I imagine. I'm guessing.
I'm certain that must happen.
Bobby's the definition of goes to college, and it's like people think like college makes you woke, and the truth is you were already woke, and now you just have peers. I thought Bobby's like the poster boy of that.
Yeah. I mean, there was a trans kid in the Malcolm in the Middle reboot, so
yeah, I love it.
Gotta be. Don't play lawyer ball, son. I like that line. Mister, I've not begun to project my anger onto you.
Yep.
That's a good stuff there.
The lightning fast John Redcorn Joseph backstory. Blink and you'll miss it. Crazy.
Yeah. All right, let's take a break.
Yeah.
And then come back and talk about our other two shows.
Sounds like a plan. We'll be back after this short commercial. We'll be back after this short musical break to talk Daria and Futurama. Back after this. Hello and welcome back to Toon Couch Toon Madness, the podcast where music and copyright are interred in our bones. They're just inside of the podcast. Oh God! But the thing is that our theme song is so cool. I don't care if this episode gets taken out from YouTube. I'm sorry. I just love the Daria theme song. It's so fucking good. Let's talk about Daria Magellan. It's time. Let's get into it. Everybody's favorite jaded girl with glasses. Have you seen Daria before?
I thought I had seen at least like part of it or something, but no, I think we just have talked about it so much.
Well,
and I've not seen it.
I don't know if you've always been a listener of the Garden Wager podcast, but we covered the first episodes or a couple episodes, I think, of Daria back in 2019.
Interesting.
On Garden Wager episode 40, the season 3 finale, because back in that era of the podcast, we would give each other homework, and so I think I gave 6 the homework of watching Daria, and we talked about it. It's like the winner of the challenge each week would give the other one homework. It's crazy to think I've been doing that show since at least 2019. That's like very hard to process. But yeah, so I had watched some of it, and I was like, man, this show rocks. I can't wait till we watch it for Chatz. Can confirm, still rocks. The other thing I know about Daria is that getting the show on DVD is kind of a bummer because you don't get the original license music, but I'm almost positive there are ways to like get this show with the original music via the internet, if you know what I'm saying.
Mhm.
Anyways, Daria. It's a spin-off of Beavis and Butthead. This first episode is called Esteemsters. It was written by Glenn Eichler and Susie Lewis Lynn. It was directed by Karen Disher, and it aired March 3rd, 1997. Magellan on MTV. Magellan, what happened in the first episode of Daria?
In this episode, cynical and highly intelligent teenager Daria Morgendorfer transfers to Lawndale High School, where she befriends the artistic Jane Lane. Sorry, there are a few words in that sentence. Transfers artistic Jane Lane while navigating shallow classmates, misguided teachers, and an absurd self-esteem program. Alan, what do you think of Esteemsters?
I loved it the first time, and I loved it the second time. This pilot
Yep.
is so good. Oh my god. Daria
Yep.
is everything Beavis and Butthead wants to be. It is holding a mirror up to society and throwing up middle fingers and wearing plaid and listening to grunge. It is cynical without being bitter. It is cynical with an emphasis towards female friendship and solidarity. It's really funny. The jokes per minute are ridiculous. And every character is a little bit insane, just like they are, just like we all are kind of in the real world. I have nothing but good things to say about this pilot. What about you?
Yeah, I loved it. It at first hearing that Daria is a Beavis and Butthead spinoff is like, I don't even know how to make sense of that. But the more I think about it, the more it's like, okay, I can imagine a funny concept of like, you got Beavis, Butthead, they're like, oh, hey, Beavis. And they go talk to this like bitterly sarcastic young woman who's their age, but miles and miles their intellectual superior, and how fun and funny that would be. And I can imagine then looking at that episode and being like, we always follow these dumbasses around, and they talk to characters who are smarter than them. What if we followed the smart girl around and saw a bunch more Beavises and Buttheads that are dumber than her? And that is just a more compelling idea for a show to me. And I really enjoy it. Like each of these teachers and the parents and everybody's just the worst in such like a down to earth, but still caricature-esque way. I had a fun time with Daria.
It's pure satire, but again, it's satire in a way that's not like you're all stupid. It's like this world is stupid and full of stupid people, but there's also good in it, and we can find friendship. And like that's the thing that always gets me about Daria. Every time I watch this and watch other episodes, I'm like, she has this reputation for being the like feminist Gen X icon, right? Like she wears the green jacket. She's the Lindsay Ware of her time. Lindsay Ware clearly inspired by Daria, for sure, no questions asked. And yet, I think like she manages to laugh. She manages to find some funny things in the world. And the origin of Daria is really interesting because in the original, in Beavis and Butthead, she was introduced just because they were like, we need women to watch MTV. Like we need girls to watch the show. And they're like, we can write a woman. And if you watch the original appearance of Daria in Beavis and Butthead, first of all, her design's completely different. They didn't nail down the iconic jacket back then. She's not the same character. She's voiced differently. Okay. She's not as like brilliant. Like the thing about Daria is also that she's incredibly smart. In that one, she's like their partner in a science project, and she's trying to get them to focus, and they're just too stupid to focus. And she's like, you two are fucking idiots. That's the whole bit of that episode. She comes back multiple times. But then we have a couple of like women who are like at MTV, and they're like, okay, you guys want a show for female audiences? We're making a show for teenage girls. We're just going to straight up point the gun at the target demographic and just blast. We got the music, we got the fashion, we have a much like more palatable animation style that doesn't feel ugly but feels like comfortable, and we've got a great voice cast across the board, and we're just gonna do some social commentary, and it's gonna be funny as fuck and relatable as fuck, and And you're gonna have some characters that you're gonna remember for the rest of your life. Jane Lane, are you kidding me?
Oh.
Just the name before you even get into the character and how gender she is. Magnificent character work in the show. It's, there's a part early on when she's talking to her parents and they're like, you don't want Highland all over again, which is where Beavis and Butthead are from. And you're like, what happened in Highland? As if this is like some weird like sequel stuff. That is the only reference to Beavis and Butthead in the entire series, to my understanding.
So funny.
Just move on. We're not in Highland anymore. We moved. She moved away from that town. She's never going to see them. That's it. They don't make sense in this world,
Right.
And okay, let's talk about some stuff that happens in this episode that's like so good, right? Quinn, Daria's sister. Right away, you're like, mean bimbo character. That's the term that they use. Like, she gets boys, she's popular, everyone falls in love with her right away, nobody looks at Daria. And you're like, okay, so we're supposed to hate her. And the show goes, no. Quinn's, you're wrong. You're an asshole for thinking that. Quinn's actually great. It's the rest of the world that sucks. That's over and over again. Daria is a show that reminds you it's the rest of the world that sucks. We need to love each other, especially as women. We need to find friendship and camaraderie with each other.
Right.
That's so fresh and so refreshing, especially for the time.
Yeah, I mean it's what I love, and hearing you describe like Daria's initial appearance on Beavis and Butthead, what it sounds like is, wouldn't it be funny if the woman was a nag? Is like what that is.
Yeah,
and this show, you can tell that there are some female voices in the room. One of the creators is a woman. And there is, like you're saying, this awareness because like Quinn is not an existing person at the school where Daria comes in and she's like the mean girl who's like, Daria, you're a nerd. Da, 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 da. It's Daria's sister. And so we directly observe the moment where both of them arrive in the same car, and just because of the way that they present themselves and their physical appearance, when Quinn walks out of the car, she doesn't even say anything. It's just the whole world around her is like, okay, great, this is where we're gonna put you.
Yeah,
you're popular, you're interesting, we like you. You come here. These are the people who want to talk to you, who you're going to talk to. These are the circles you're going to be in. Daria steps out of the same car. You're annoying. You're a nerd.
You're an outcast. You're a freak.
Right. And like every aspect of the system of the school reinforces that. They go to the psychological Rorschach test, and Quinn's way of describing like this hypothetical argument between the ink blot characters, the school psychologist or whoever this is like, of course, brilliant, amazing. And then Daria, every way that Daria engages with that task is wrong. And she's then told like, oh, and the problem is you have low self-esteem. And it's like, what what do you want from me? I don't get it. So so I agree with you that the show does a really good job of like having Quinn there, but
she's not the villain.
She's not the villain, and it's not like Quinn sucks. It's like the world that puts Quinn in a Quinn-shaped box sucks. And that's what we care about deconstructing and making fun of.
Precisely. It's super sharp. I mean, just to say a lot about womanhood. Like neither of us identify as women, but like my girlfriend has talked about this, and she did when she was on the podcast, but it's like the pressure to be a certain type of woman and to like act and look a certain way. And people look at Daria and they're like, you don't fit that. You're weird. And like, this is the mid-90s, guys. It's like not a regular woman just means like she doesn't really wear makeup. She has glasses, and she isn't like into girly stuff. That's it. And
Mhm.
suddenly she's like, it's like the box, the like you said, the quin-shaped box is so narrow that it's meant to be impossible to fit in, to make people struggle. And
Mhm.
what's great about Daria and why she's such a good role model, I think, too, is that she's like, okay, I simply won't try to fit into it. I don't want to. I don't want to be
Yeah.
like that, and I'm gonna find my people on the fringe, and they're gonna be cool. And she has like these weird nerdy friends, and she meets Jane. They bond over TV, and the fact that they both are like a little too smart. You know, you were a high school teacher
Mhm.
for a long time. You've definitely encountered the like high school kid who developed their self-awareness a little too early, and it's like
Yes.
you are gonna struggle a lot, but you are probably smarter than a lot of your peers. You're probably, or just like more self-aware than a lot of your peers, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's often can be a liability for some kids where it's like
Of course.
this is something I would talk about like with some students or with my colleagues. It's like you're kind of figuring out too early that this is arbitrary bullshit. Like
Yeah.
I think uh, school worked for me when I was in high school partly because I was like perfectly willing to like play the game of school and like conform
Mm-hmm.
um to expectations, but like
Mm-hmm.
if you're too aware too soon that it's all kind of like make 'em up bullshit, then you're gonna have a hard time like going along with it. um yeah, I think the other thing kind of structurally about Daria as a character within this system that I really like
Mm-hmm.
is the way that the show is illustrating, and there's a little bit of this in King of the Hill too, where um, Bobby's playing baseball and Hank's trying to get him to be a better baseball player, and um, what does he say? He says this line. Well, first of all, they have the whole conversation in the car where he's like, "If you want to win, you got to do better than your best."
100%,
And Bobby's like,
105%. That
yeah, and they're like 113%. And then she's like, 13, I don't know about 30. He's like, fine, 112, I don't know. So
well,
there's,
the important thing is more than 100. I don't fuck.
yeah, but also like you're good enough, I guess, or something. um and Daria has, there's this such a funny moment where they're at the dinner table and the parents learn like, oh, the school says that you have low self-esteem. The
Mhm.
mom says, um we tell you over and over again that you're wonderful and you just don't get it. What is wrong with you?
God.
And
God.
I think what I really love about Daria as a protagonist is she captures this cognitive dissonance that's happening where everybody's learned like, okay, we need to tell everybody that like it doesn't matter your size or your height or whatever,
Mhm.
like you're you and you're special and you should
Mhm.
feel good about yourself. um and also the way what's really interesting is there still is this reinforcement of like kind of this standardized version of femininity because Daria is assumed to have low self-esteem because she's not conforming to that ideal,
Mhm. So
right?
you must not like yourself if you don't want to conform.
Right. So it's functionally the same as like, hey, you aren't like a pretty lady. It's just voiced as like, oh, you must hate yourself because you're not a pretty lady.
Yeah, you wish you
And
were
it's like,
this.
yeah, it's like, why is this is not better? This is just like a different way of saying, communicating the same shit
Mhm.
and pretending like you're like slapping me in the face and pretending like you're doing me a favor.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
and I think that's so genius of this show to focus on that.
Exactly. Well, that's what the whole show is, and like in this episode, it gives me like a deep laugh from the center of my soul at the self-esteem course. I watched the self-esteem course and I'm like, this is amazing because this type of thing existed and probably still exists in a lot of schools. This like well, these are the troubled kids, and so we need to treat them like they're really stupid and regurgitate the same platitudes to them over and over again. What happens when they aren't stupid and they didn't belong here, and this whole system is in fact stupid? Well, what happens is Jane has been here for so long that she doesn't even care to leave, and she's memorized the curriculum, and she's smarter than the teacher. And she's like, all right, here's what he's going to say next, and here's what's on the test. And now we can just both perform the role. Like, everything, once Daria and Jane link up, is like, how do we perform the role of the type of woman that they want us to be? Okay, we have to say that we're sorry and that I hate myself, and like, oh, I made sure I was like my sister. But like, we're still going to get what we want. And like those moments of like, I got you. Society doesn't know how to work with me. Like, Daria is a sibling in the sense that she can say, I'm sad and I really want to go to this fuck ass Chuck E. Cheese clone that you all hate, and I'm gonna make you go to it. And because I don't want to go either, but I want to make you all suffer. She knows that that's what her parents are thinking, is like, oh, I feel bad, we should take her. And she's like, please take me, even she knows everyone's gonna hate it. It's a little bit sadistic, but it's so funny. So funny.
Yeah, I love the moment where they have to give a speech at the assembly because they graduated the self-esteem course early. And then Jane does this whole production of, she's like proud of herself, but then she's like, but wait, now everybody knows that I had low self-esteem, and that's making me feel low in my self-esteem.
Really sad.
And she fakes this like breakdown thing to really highlight what you're describing, which is her and Daria are both like, okay, I'm gonna like maliciously comply with your expectations of me, and I'm gonna make it unpleasant for the world to operate the way that you expect it to. Like, okay, fine, I will be nervous, anxious girl who breaks down at the assembly. That's gonna be awkward for everybody. That's gonna waste your time, but that's what you're telling me it is. That's who you're telling me I am. Fine. Okay, here we go. Did you like that? Do you even know a thing about me? Did you even bother to talk to me? Like the teacher, at the moment where he's like, there's something familiar about you. And she's been in this course now for months, taking it multiple times, which is just indicative of like, this is not serving the function that it claims to serve. You're saying that this is a course to help students develop self-esteem, but you're just talking at them the way that they're being talked at it everywhere in all parts of their lives. Like, there's not something that's meaningfully, functionally speaking to them as people.
Ultimately goes to show that the teacher does not care about them. He's like, you're just another troubled kid. I don't know, you look like the other one.
Yeah. And he like calls her Daria when he's chasing after Jane. He's like, Daria, wait.
Yep. That was funny.
That part's funny.
Lots of good getting their names wrong. The inkblot test person being like, come on, Dara, and she, or something like Daria, and she's like, it's Daria, and she goes, I'm sorry, Daria. Anyways, what do you see in this picture, Dara? Just so good. It's so fucking funny. And the parents, we can't talk enough about our parents.
Yeah.
What is going on with them? This like working mom who clearly gives them both like a sense of independence and like, we can be cool women, but like she's so overbearing and just doesn't listen to her kids. And same with that. Don't you know? Why do you keep fucking up when we tell you that you're good? And like, tell me you haven't heard that in your life at some point from some authority figure who's like, I'm saying you're good. Why aren't you happy? And you're like, but you're not listening. Yeah. You don't care.
Yeah. And it's not even like, because there's danger with making fun of the working mom, where you can kind of fall into some, this mom has a job, which makes her a worse mom, or, whatever bullshit like that. But I think what they really do a good job of getting across here is like, because the mom goes out of her way to say, hey, I'm going to take you to the mall. Like, we're going to bond. So she spends time with her kids. She like
Mhm.
makes it a priority. They're eating dinner together every night. Like
Yeah.
everything is in place for the family to function, but there's just like this fundamental misunderstanding of the fact that like are you listening to your daughter?
Yeah.
Like the moment where she tries on the pantsuit and she's like, what do you think? And Daria says, it stands proudly and proclaims, I am. It's like your daughter just like read you to filth and you're like, oh, thank you. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like you are not listening.
And that's I think that's so relatable, both as it
Yes.
and it's kind of timeless. Like, yeah, I think that there's a 1990s element to like society doesn't get me, man. Everyone's so fucking stupid. But like,
Yeah.
I still think a big part of being a teenager is being like, why are people do not respect me at all? I am not stupid. I have to constantly reassert to people, especially for women, obviously, that I am in fact smart and I in fact know what I'm talking about. And I just have to hear them repeat back to me what I already know.
Yep.
And I have to, it's just, you didn't see a lot of this then. You see more of it now, but I think Daria's just like one of the best female teenage characters in this type of show.
Yeah.
She's so good. Do you have any other like quotes or funny things from this episode?
I love the history teacher.
So angry.
Cast me in that role as this like, hey, I'm the history teacher. And the line that I laughed out loud is the sort of like jock guy doesn't know the answers to the questions. He thinks that Manifest Destiny had to do with the Vietnam War. And the teacher says, come talk to me when you have the Heisman in a car dealership and I'm still saving up for a second pair of pants.
Crazy. Holy smokes.
That was really funny. The self-esteem teacher saying, just let me get through this part, then there'll be a video.
Relatable. Let's be honest.
The mom, like, I'm going to take you out. And Daria says, Mom, I'm in the care of experts. Any meddling by an amateur could cause psychological damage.
Yeah.
And then the last line that I really liked was when Mr. O'Neill is talking at the assembly and he's talking about something with his car, and then someone heckles, that's transmission fluid. Like just correcting him.
Yep.
What he's talking about. Good stuff.
I was trying to look at the voice cast for this show, and almost every single male character is voiced by this guy, Mark Thompson.
Interesting.
The teenage boys, the dad, both teachers. Like what? It's a very small voice cast, very independent production. It seems like. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, just like you might know, Mark Thompson is the voice of Duke Devlin from Yu-Gi-Oh.
I do know that. Yu-Gi-Oh GX. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh.
Generation X. Game on. Yes, game on. Yeah. Why is that not on the bracket? Anyways, I know why. What was I going to say about Daria? Oh, in that Garden Wager episode, I watched, I think, either the series finale or a much later episode. The show is cool. It's going to go, there's like character development. And it's like kind of sad, but also fun. And if I were to watch it, I would make sure to get the original music to the best of my ability. Because it's just such a part of the show is the like, you know, the rock music at the outsides of it. And even like I said, the TV show that that Jane and Daria are both fans of, what is it, Sick Twisted World or something, is very much like they're basically watching MTV.
Yeah, right.
It's them watching us watching them, basically.
Yeah. Add Jane Lane to the gender mood board.
Already on there, buddy. It's been on there for years.
Yeah.
Oh, one of my favorite lines, besides the I'm sorry, Daria, what do you see, Dara? Before that, Quinn, speaking of Quinn being good and like really smart, the guy tries to flirt with her, and she's like, "Can you give me something better than like, what's your date idea? Movie, burger, backseat. Movie, burger, backseat. Like, come on." I'm like, oh my god, she's like new to the school, and she already like has the whole system laid out. This is just a Morgendorfer thing. It's like I'm too self aware. Their parents raised them to be very self aware, precocious kids.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I can't say enough good things about Daria. It fucking rocks. I don't need a reboot. It's fine as it is. I got a lot of episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Shall we move on to our last show of the night?
Yes, let's do it.
It's the big one, folks. It's really good that our fourth show is good because sometimes I get sleepy towards the end of the pod. No, this is Futurama. It is the pilot of Futurama called Space Pilot 3000. Season 1, Episode 1. It's written by Matt Groening and David X. Cohen, the series co-creators. It's directed by Rich Moore, and it aired March 28th, 1999 on Fox. Magellan, what happened in Space Pilot 3000?
In this episode, pizza delivery boy Philip J. Fry is accidentally cryogenically frozen on New Year's Eve 1999 and awakens 1,000 years later, where he befriends Leela and Bender before finding a new purpose with the Planet Express delivery company. So, Alan, you were talking before about how you've seen a bunch of that Futurama. You love it. I love it too. I've seen a bunch of it as well. Great show. We know this.
One of my favorite shows of all time.
The pilot. Oh,
I would say that.
TV podcast host.
Yeah, I would say this is like in a top fiver for me. I don't see why not. And it's interesting because it's not just because that was a really foundational summer for me developing my taste as an adult, but also Futurama is so comforting to me because this is in general thing before we get into this episode, I guess. Whereas The Simpsons is like important because it is like so specific, a specific type of funny that like shows just aren't funny at like that anymore. Futurama is that and has a deep heart and like emotional resonance to its characters and its storylines that it never fully lampshades and doesn't lose. It doesn't flanderize too far. It like lets its characters be deeply human and is about being human in a time when your humanity is deprioritized. And I think as I get older, I come to appreciate that aspect of it more, even as they pump out more and more reboot seasons that I'm like not so excited to watch. Is the original Futurama episodes, that first like 10 seasons before the first cancellation or whatever. It's just perfect comedy, sci-fi storytelling to me.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's you take the comedic sensibilities of The Simpsons and you say, okay, instead of this being about kind of like your traditional American suburban 2.5 kids picket fence family, this is about a found family of weirdos and misfits and robots and people with one eyeball and old guys and octopus people and whatever. And so already that's our cast. And then you also put the wrapper around that of, and we're going to do sci-fi stuff and make like sci-fi jokes. You just have a great show that I want to watch. You've taken a show that I loved and was core to my growing up, The Simpsons, and you changed it in every way, in ways that I like. You make it also like more bitingly anti-capitalist, and it's like, hey, this is great. Give me 100 million of these.
And obviously, I don't think any show has infinite juice in the tank. Like, I watched one season of the newer Futurama, and I was like, it's not bad, but I just don't. Because the problem is it does the same thing that The Simpsons does, where instead of digging into, like, the tropes of its genre, like The Simpsons used to dig more into, like, the honeymooners and, like, old pop culture, it tries to be very prescient. The more prescient Futurama tries to be, the less I like it, if I'm being honest. But it there's just so much. There's such a good well of, and like we're watching TOS now for Trek Chats, and I'm like, that's that episode of Futurama. That's that episode of, like, these guys loved Star Trek and and stuff like Farscape and Babylon 5 and like the stuff that we love. These These are some sci-fi ass sci-fi nerds writing this show with a deep affection, deep love for that stuff. Not just, people talk about like the Orville, Seth MacFarlane's like live action take on Star Trek, and like on its face it seems like it's a parody, but then in actuality it's just a good one of those brought to the modern era. And that's Futurama to me. It's like it loves sci-fi, it's making fun of it, and it is in itself also good sci-fi. There's a lot of good social commentary in this episode, just this one. It's tight, it's extremely funny. It just I'd say jokes per minute a lot in Toon Madness, but the jokes per minute in this Futurama pilot are crazy. Like, I wrote in my notes, tell me what you think about this sentence. I wrote, this is from that era of Simpsons style writing where everything has to happen as much as it can possibly happen.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. Like, I have a quote written down from because in the first couple minutes we establish, here's Fry, his life sucks, he's having a real bad day, and even just the moment where there's a car that goes by and he's like, oh my god, it's my girlfriend, hey baby. He then sees into the car, she's with another man. She says it's not working out, and then she says, I put your stuff out on the sidewalk. Is like, it's what you're describing of, okay, if we're gonna establish that Fry's girlfriend is cheating on him, we are gonna like establish that. And then 15 minutes later, when he's talking about his life and how it wasn't going great, we're not just gonna show that he wasn't aware. We're gonna have him say, yeah, this was happening, I was starting to think that my girlfriend was cheating on me. It's just like, yeah,
it has to go as
joke
far.
is kind of like, let's dial that up a little bit more.
The Star Trek doors closing gag is very funny once. Is extremely funny the second time.
Yeah. My favorite line in the whole thing is...
Give me some lines.
Oh, God, there's so many. But my favorite is Fry's grabbing a drink with Bender, and Bender's talking about like, oh yeah, I bend metal, like girders and stuff. That's my thing. And he's like, I could bend them at any angle, 30 degrees, 32 degrees, you name it, 31 degrees.
That's
so funny. That's so funny. And I think what that's indicative of, this is my suspicion, is like this premiering in 1999 and having the benefit of The Simpsons having become an amazing show, like a generationally great show that had like processes in place of, okay, how do you write an amazing episode of an animated show? And you learn like, okay, what are the drafting processes? How do they look like? How do people pitch stuff? How do you make sure that things get punched up? What philosophy do you have about like different kinds of jokes you can tell and how densely? And so then you go to Futurama, and the show has the benefit of being able to start out of the gate with all of that kind of institutional knowledge of how to do this exact kind of thing well. Because like, you don't get a joke like that, 32 degrees, you name it, 31 degrees. You don't get that joke unless you have a process where you have a writer's room and people are reading the scripts and they're like, it'd be really funny if he went back and said 31 degrees and they add that. And that's what I really loved about this pilot, is you can just feel the confidence in it.
Totally.
It feels like 30 Rock in that way too, where it's like Tina Fey's coming on to 30 Rock, having been in the SNL writers room, having run the SNL writers room. So she's like, I get how to do this. I understand how to like get a room of funny people to make the best version, the funniest version of a funny thing. And that's what you have here in Futurama. It's so good.
it's a sophomore or a junior effort in a way. Like, you don't start by making something this good. That's like once in a millennium that happens. Once in a, as Fry says, a million years.
Oh my god,
A million years. And they don't even correct him. They're just like, come on. It's not. It clearly comes from a place of like, I know how to work with my voice actors, and my animation team knows how to pace things, and like this, it looks fresh, it looks vibrant, its inspirations are worn on its sleeve, like it looks like a Flash Gordon serial on purpose, and Star Trek. Everything is in place for like you have all of space to explore, and they can just have a lot of fun with it. Like, and it's little quick jokes that sometimes lean on the animation, like when they're in the hall of like the museum with all the heads, and just so quickly, speaking of Star Trek, we pass by Leonard Nimoy, and you know, Fry, who is just a fucking nerd, is like, oh my god, do the Vulcan salute. And Leonard Nimoy looks down at his lack of hands and goes, we don't do that, Vulcans, we don't do that anymore. Implying, like, not only is it like the real Leonard Nimoy probably got tired of doing the Vulcan salute, but also in the future, he just doesn't have hands to do it, even if he wanted to. Oh, God. Just quick little jokes. The 25-cent suicide booth. You kidding me?
Oh my god.
It's just knives and blades shooting at you.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's like there's so many layers to that, because it's the layer of, yeah, we don't have phone booths anymore. This society doesn't value, you know, you as an individual person, your ability to communicate with people. It's just like, you want to die? Here's this booth. But they're bad. Like, they're made poorly. They're not good at killing you. There's another layer. Another layer is like, Fry doesn't even have the money to afford the suicide booth. And then the other layer is like, Bender, even to the very end, is going to tie the coin to his finger and cheat the suicide booth, because it doesn't matter if he's going to die. Like, he's not going to get caught wasting money on this stupid thing. That sequence is so smart, and it's developing the characters and the world, and it's funny, and it's sci-fi, but it's like grounded in something. Yeah, it's great.
It's something, again, the show doesn't always do perfectly, but often does. Is like, look at this world, like, we're doing a social commentary. It's one of the rare sci-fi shows I can think of where it takes place in a shitty future, and that's something that we can like now more and more relate to. Is like, we got a lot of the cool technology that we dreamed of in the 20th century, and it kind of sucks. Like, everything is sponsored. Drink Slurm is a billboard that flies over the theme song. We know that there's a mom corporation. We'll see more of that. Like, all these little hints of like, we have toys we can play with. But the point is, like, this is a hyper-capitalist future. Yeah, we have tubes that you can say your destination in, and they take you exactly where you want to go. But sometimes they spit you out and you hit a wall, and that's kind of painful. Like, it just, they did all of this work in the 1,000 years to like perfect society, and we still have tubes, and they're not even that good. We have suicide booths, and they don't work. It's amazing. I wrote in my notes, it's the Apple 1984 ad, you know, where the lady runs up and swings the hammer. It's if they made that into a whole show, and also it was hilarious. Just like, society's stupid, let's fix it. Like, what's a new world look like? What the bright hope of the future is dumb as fuck. It's really dumb.
Yeah. And it's like, I think that the thing within that's brilliant about this future is it's this hyper-capitalist dystopia where you are assigned your job. It's policed by the police, and some of whom are robots, some of whom are say damn when they get knocked to the ground. But it's not 1984. Like, we're not going to pretend like this state is hyper competent, like they're able to see your every movement. The way that capitalism coerces you to do things is by making you poor and making things scarce, and then saying, this is the way that you're allowed to get the money that you need to survive.
Mm-hmm.
So when it's like, Fry, you got to be a delivery boy, there's not the whole kind of apparatus of Big Brother coming down on him. It's like, well, what's your other option? This is how you get a job. What are you going to like go out in the world and what? Do what? You can't even afford a suicide booth. And I think that's the other thing that's so sharp and smart about the world of Futurama is everything sucks in so many ways that feel like how everything is gonna suck.
Exactly.
Like it's not gonna be this dramatic kind of movie like there's an evil empire. It's gonna be like, fuck, man, I gotta go to work.
Exactly.
This world is terrible.
Exactly. I was reading about this pilot, and they really did not want it to be either utopian or dystopian, which I think ends up making it really realistic. Just similar to how like Scrubs is, in some ways, intentionally the most accurate medical drama. Sometimes when you're making something funny, you accidentally make something real, because you know it is in the reality of things that you find comedy. So this future and Futurama is like, it's a world where we thought we could build cool things, and we did build them, but like nothing works right and everything's mean, and we get chips planted in us that tell us what our work is, and we, like you said, we still have to go to work. Like we cannot even dream of a world without labor, because like every concept of our labor movement died, and now half the police are robots, and they're all stupid, and they call for backup, and they're 6 feet away, and you're like, great, system working as intended, no reason to fix this.
Yeah, it's every technological advancement in a hyper-capitalist society where logic would tell you like, oh, this is going to make my life easier. When you exist under a capitalist system, that system cannot metabolize technology in a way that makes people's lives easier, because it needs people's lives to be hard,
correct,
in order to make them do the things that like keep the hierarchy in place. So that's why you have a world where you have sentient robots and everybody still needs to have a job. It's like, why is there a human cop if there's a robot cop? I'm not saying I want a world where there's robot cops and I get policed by robots, but like, why do we need Fry to be a delivery boy when we have a tube system that sends things to exactly where we want them to go? Like, what is that? What is he delivering, and why and how? And why is this not built for people?
I think that's what makes Fry and Bender's relationship so funny, is that Bender is literally a machine built to do one thing, but he happens to like other stuff, and Fry is a person who you'd think has free will, but like kind of only is good at one task and likes other stuff. Like, despite being human and a robot, they are basically the same character.
And for both of them, the society is telling them, hey, this is the thing you're good at, and they're not even, like you're saying, disagreeing with that. Bender knows that he's really good at bending. He talks about it. It's not a question of like, should I bend? It's a question of like, do you get to tell me that I have to be a bender? Like, by the end of the episode, Fry is a delivery boy, and he says, I'm a delivery boy. Woohoo! Woo-hoo! And so it was never about the job, and it was always about what put you there. Did you choose it for yourself?
Exactly. And I think that's a good lesson that the episode imparts also. It's another thing that Futurama was always pretty good at. He's like, here's a takeaway, you know, almost in like the traditional sitcom style way of here's the lesson about love or relationships or being accountable or whatever is. It's not like you can complain about your job sucking all day, but the point is that you like chose to do it and that you have a life and outside of work. Some really funny details from this episode. one that comes back at the beginning and the end is that during the New Year's Eve countdown, every country says their number of the 10 countdown in their language. But in the future, we now have like aliens. So one of them is like, blah, blah, blah. But like, it's the Simpsons writing team, or it's Groening and Company. So they're all perfectly accurate. Like they didn't fudge any of the languages. They're all correct. That's just the kind of attention to detail that like I freaking love.
And I like that that's accompanied with, we put a digital screen on the Eiffel Tower. Like it's not there, but there's something, there's like a little nod towards we're about to go to a very unusual world. So let's start building your tolerance for like, okay, there's groundedness. We're going to be detail oriented and it's a cartoon. So like we can just sort of put a screen on the Eiffel Tower and you can be okay with that.
It's just like, move on. That is what it is, What was the other one I was going to say? Oh, 2 examples of people's bosses being played by actors that we know. Of course, Fry's boss in the past, voiced by John DiMaggio at the pizza place. That was great. And then that's going to be Bender. And then I have to say, guys, that is in fact Billy West as Leela's boss doing an Indian accent.
Okay.
And it's not great. I want to say, no, wait, guys, this show is way more progressive than The Simpsons. Not always. Not at least when it comes to casting. Not always. Yeah. I don't know. I'm so curious what a Futurama rewatch looks like for me. Because this show is so put it on and just leave it running for me. It's like the best show ever for that. I laugh at jokes. I kind of tune in and out to the plot. And then when it's like one of the sad episodes, like, I got to watch Fry's dog. I got to watch the one where they kill Hitler. Ugh. There's so many good episodes.
Cry.
I will. I'm going to do it. Any other notes or lines you wanted to quote?
A hilarious exchange when Fry meets Leela and he's like, "Can I ask you a question?" She says, "Is it about my eye?" He's like, "Well, is it about the eye?" And he's like, She says, "Just ask the question." He says, "What's with the eye?"
What's with the eye? She's sick of him.
The other line I really liked is when Fry's trying to convince Bender to open the bars on the window. He says, "What do I look like? A D-bender?"
Very good rules delineation there. He bends, he doesn't unbend.
And if he does unbend, his arms fall off for some reason.
Again, shitty future.
Right.
Again, I want to emphasize the Star Trek doors thing where Fry literally goes, "Oh my god, they're like Star Trek. They close from the side," and then he gets hit by one because he stands in it to see what happens. And then the next time he's like, "I'm not going to get caught this time." And it closes from above like the other Star Trek shows. And he goes, "Ow!" And he gets hit by it. That's great. And it's like a nice deep cut reference for the Trekkies out there. They've had doors go both ways. Yeah, I think I agree. 32 degrees, 30, any angle you name it, 31. I need you, listener, to understand why that's the funniest line of the episode. It's because the line sounds like we've moved on. Like we were done talking about it. 32 degrees, 30. I don't know, any angle you name. 31. It's so good. It's so good. John DiMaggio. Oh my god.
It's so fucking funny.
The pacing of it is flawless. That's what it really is.
It's so funny.
Unbelievable. And like you said, that's just like, did they improvise this? Did they just like try some different takes until it was the funniest possible? Maybe. All right, Magellan. We've talked about the 4 shows. We've had 2 different technical difficulties. We're here at the end. We have to make a decision.
All right.
This is one of the harder ones for me because there are 3 shows here that I really want to take forward. Beavis and Butthead for no. Um, basically, we're picking what we don't take.
Right. Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
It's tough. I mean, in this decision, Futurama suffers a little bit because I've seen it before.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So like King of the Hill and Daria struck me with such novelty, and there's like this excitement of what does the next episode look like. But I think we got a lot out of the Futurama discussion, and
Yeah,
it has been over 10 years since I've seen the show, so I would imagine
same.
I'll have some new things to say and think about it. I don't know. It's hard. Daria is the one that feels like kind of the most precious of the three.
Mm-hmm.
But I think King of the Hill is the one where I felt the most reflective about it.
Interesting. I like that
So
argument
it's like
a lot.
It's like I don't know how to choose between those things.
Do you want to flip a coin?
Does you goes first?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
Make this decision a little easier for you. That's my thinking here.
Yeah.
Okay. So, listeners, the Toon Couch to Madness know the way that we decide who makes their pick first to go forward is we flip a coin, and that person gets the winner of the coin flip gets to pick first. The other person gets what the remaining three to pick from. So, that being said, Magellan, heads or tails?
Tails never fails.
Flipping. It's tails. Congratulations. I don't get to narrow it down for you, though.
I'm gonna take Daria and leave you with a hard decision.
Oh, God.
I'm sorry.
Fuck. That's okay. That's totally fine. Excuse me. Gosh, I love Futurama so much. The thing, it's the Frasier thing. It's the Big O thing. It's the like every time we find a show on Chatz that I like too much, I'm like, wait, no, I want it. And maybe that's the younger sibling in me, but I'm like, don't make me wait. Don't make me wait months and months and months to watch more Futurama. Just let me watch it. So I think that being said, I'm gonna pick King of the Hill.
I'm down with that. I think that makes sense. Futurama to me is also not that we have to think so much about like what makes sense to cover, but like it doesn't make sense to cover Futurama as a book club show. I think there's a world where we pick like highlight favorite episodes or something like that. I think it kind of demands a different approach.
We do a new series called Our Favorite Shows, and we do a highlights for each of our like individual favorite. You get to do all your favorite Justice League Unlimited episodes. I get to pick all of our favorite Futuramas. You get to pick all your favorite Scrubs, etc., etc., etc.
Interesting.
It's deeply autobiographical.
We have Chat's Lights, which we did one episode of.
True. Maybe that's what Chat's Lights ends up turning into.
Yeah.
But I agree. So congrats to King of the Hill and Daria for making it onto round 2 of the adult animation bracket. You did it. Let's move on. Magellan, what are we doing next time on Chatz, the television podcast?
Next time we are doing the second half of the adult animation division, which will be 4 shows from the 2000s and beyond. Those programs are BoJack Horseman,
yes,
Final Space, Scavenger's Reign, and Tuca and Bertie.
Wow.
So we're watching the first episodes of each of those programs next week.
Yeah, my thinking was that we would split this in, like you said, into the TV era and then the streaming era. So 2 of these are Raphael Bob Waxberg shows, BoJack and Tuca and Bertie, and then the other 2 are adult animated shows that I heard are fantastic and I never got to watch. So I want to give them a fair shake. So that's how we got to these, and they were all on the list. It should be a very lively discussion.
Yes.
And I've seen BoJack Horseman, so I have thoughts about that. Great. Magellan, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on another podcast that I do with my friend Justin called Super Smash Echoes, where we play video games related to the Super Smash Brothers franchise, Super Smash Echoes. Check it out. You can also find me on Bluesky at notthemagellan.bsky.social and on ghost not-that-magellan.ghost.io. Alan, what about you?
You can hear me on a Pokemon podcast called The Creature Quorum on scanlinemedia.com, where we are covering the Kanto video games, the Pokemon video games, like Let's Go Pikachu and Fire Red and Leaf Green, and several different interesting ROM hacks like Pure Green, which I recommend hearing about. Yeah. We just covered Viridian City. That episode just came out. So we've done all 8 gym badges, and now we're going to do a Elite Four / post game of Kanto. That's another podcast gig right now. More to come, probably. And I'm on Bluesky at Ibrahim, AIBRAHIM. Magellan, this is an odd episode, so I'd love to do the plug zone if you don't mind.
You better.
If you have questions, comments, or concerns, you can email us at chatzpod@gmail.com. We're also on Bluesky at Chatzpod and on YouTube, where the episodes come out 2 days after the main feed. And if you watch the first half, you can see our beautiful faces. But we turned our cameras off because of technical difficulties. So that's why you're looking at the beautiful Chatz logo. But generally, you get to see our beautiful faces and our fun shirts and backgrounds and whatnot on YouTube. So give us a sub and a like there. And we have a Patreon. It's patreon.com/chatspod. Also, sorry, Apple Podcasts and Spotify. You guys know. You know. Patreon.com/chatspod, though, gets you bonus content. We pull from a cup of different shows and media that folks recommend to us, and then we cover them on the Patreon. That can range from albums, movies, books, video games, all sorts of cool stuff. And that's all at the Chatz Patreon. And also at $5 a month plus, you get all those things I told you. You get a cool title in the Discord, and you get thanked at the end of every main feed episode of the pod. So as of today, thank you to fiance of the podcast, Amanda, Arthur, Emily, Emeris, Felicia, Jen, Justin, girlfriend of the podcast, Kelly, Kyrie, Lee, Marcus, Magellan's mom, MP, Nick of the Brothers at Infinite War, Noel, Six, Stefan, and Steph. Thank you so much for supporting Chatz. We appreciate you. We also appreciate Camilla. She's at Camillastrator. She's a friend of the pod. She did the logo that you're seeing on the video version. And she's great. Follow Camillastrator on social media. Last but not least, we have a final segment called Chatzums, where every host recommends you something or some things to check out between now and the next episode of Chatz. So, Magellan, you're up first. What is or are your Chatzums for this week?
My Chatsum this week is a music Chatsum. It's a band that I've been enjoying the music of lately. They're called Night Talks, and it's sort of a 3-piece group. Look, if you're into pop music where it's sort of like one short woman and 2 tall men in the back being quiet and playing some instruments, I think you'll get a kick out of Night Talks. A lot of really catchy tunes. Some favorites of mine. I like the song People Pleaser, Dream I'm In. I think my favorite is Shadows on the Run. Which is kind of this, it's got an anthemic sort of quality to it. They say on their website that their influences range from Fleetwood Mac and LCD Sound System to Queens of the Stone Age. Whoa. So that gives you a sense for what they're going for. I like it. Night Talks.
All I know is I have Shadow on the Run saved on Spotify because you showed it to me, and it's really good.
Shadows on the run.
They're like not huge. They don't even. Most of their songs have not cracked 100K on Spotify. We got to get them up there.
You could be in on the ground floor of the next cool band that you play their songs, and people are like, "Whoa, who is this?
Who's that?
I like this."
Night Talks.
Oh, cool! I gotta check them out.
I'm gonna listen to a bunch of Night Talks tonight.
You better.
Brilliant.
What's your freaking Chatsum, huh?
I watched a movie yesterday. A film.
A flim.
A flim. I watched the autobiographical comedy drama Tony, which is a dramatized version of the life of writer, TV host, chef Anthony Bourdain. The movie stars Dominic Sassa, Amelia Jones, and Leo Woodall, and Antonio Banderas. It was directed by Matt Johnson, the guy from Nirvana, the band, The Show. So I think he's just becoming a good director. I don't think everything he does has to be a complicated meta textual bit. Tony's a well-directed, okay flick about a complicated figure and an interesting part of his life. Basically, for those who don't know, it's adapting the first section of Kitchen Confidential, Bourdain's autobiography, when he was a young kid, 19 years old, who ran away from home to go work as a cook in Provincetown, Massachusetts, where he worked for a seafood
Which,
restaurant.
by the way, we've discussed on the podcast. If you want to go back into the feed,
That's right. We did a Chatz in the Pickle on the book.
Kitchen Confidential. Yeah.
Yeah. And most people agree that's like the most interesting part of the book, or the most like Bildungsroman of the book, which is funny because they have multiple jokes in the movie about Bourdain not knowing the word Bildungsroman. He keeps calling it Bildungsroman, and his mom is like, "Do you know that that's one word?" It's funny, it's charming, it's very summery. It was filmed in Provincetown. It's an area, part of Massachusetts, like I have to shamefully admit I've never been to yet. I really, 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 really want to go. I have a lot of friends who go. Great queer community up there in P-Town. And it's just like, it's chill. They like added characters. They put in a romance plot and a like save the rec center kind of like, oh my God, we got to like make up for the bad things that we did and raise some money. It's very fluffy, but it's a good time. And Stavros Halkias is in it. And if you think he's funny, then you're going to think he's funny in this. He's always like that. Noted podcaster, Stavi. Yeah, it's fine. Go watch it if you want. I don't know. It's actually not even out yet. It's out August 7th. So I got to see an early screening of it. But check it out when it comes out. That's all I got. Thank you, Magellan, for being the Jane Lane to my Daria Morgendorfer.
Thank you.
Damn, the video's not on, but I did make a cool like look to the side, like, aren't we cool, motherfuckers?
Thank you.
You're welcome, my friend, and thank you so much, everyone out there, for listening to Toon Couch, Toon Madness. Stay zany.
Bye bye.
Bye.